Alrighty folks, welcome back to part 2 of my Elden Ring Shadows of the Erdtree playthrough. If you followed along for part 1, you're going to notice that I made a little bit of progress in my journey since we last kind of met here on YouTube. The reason for that is some technical errors vis-a-vis me being an absolute noob to recording and editing software and not capturing either audio or video. So let's pick back up here. I spent far too long fingering around in this room trying to figure out what to do after completing the second part of Ymyr's quest. The second part was a little bit of a challenge. There's a certain thing you have to do with a gesture that, courtesy of some in-game signs, I was able to kind of figure it out using the internet without having to subject myself to too much spoiler content. So I found this new sweet area and I kind of dive down in. Now, of course, there's going to be moments where my character kind of stops because, you know, I was explaining things, kind of talking through it. Of course, none of that recording was captured. But the reason I'm doing voiceover instead of just skipping it or re-recording is there was an invader, a boss here. It seemed like a significant part of the journey that I didn't necessarily just want to kind of cut out. Part of why I'm getting this on YouTube is for kind of my purposes of having my playthrough kind of documentized. So you can see here, I get invaded by this Wolverine, Sauron looking lady. It wasn't really too bad. Most of the NPC invasions in the DLC haven't given me too much trouble. That's no dig if they've been giving you trouble. Like I said last time, I died 100 times to Commander Gaius, several times to a lot of other easy bosses that people haven't complained too much about. Now, if you watch the last one and during this one, you're probably gonna pick up on the fact that I do tend to bring my mimic in kind of as a, like, okay, we're gonna win the fight, let's bring out the mimic. Now, usually I do like to play duels until I feel like I absolutely cannot win and then bring the mimic out. And I would encourage you to kind of play the same way. I think in this one, it was just a case of like camera being on me. I want to win. I kind of used a mimic a little bit earlier into my play, like my fights, than I normally would. So I'll try to kind of give it my best solo attempt moving forward in the future. But as you can see, Metyr, whatever it is, Mother of Fingers, this is just some absolute Lovecraftian horror. I don't know if it's even quite Lovecraftian because it's conceptually made out of human body parts, but wow, this thing is just spectacular. So basically, I kind of struggled against like his little, I'm trying to see if he does it, his little finger slide move, but otherwise, even if I would have waited it out without using the mimic, I don't think this was one of the harder bosses. I think it was more doable, much easier for me than Putrefied Knight and Mesmer. It probably would have been harder than the Saint of Bud if I wouldn't have kind of jumped to my mimic so quickly, but I got in on that pretty early, especially in like my second run. So you can kind of see me just getting murdered. There's not too much to say about what specifically is happening. Well, I'm just getting absolutely clapped by the Mother of Fingers. That, I don't know if that it birthed little hands. So see, when I saw that, it kind of gave me flashbacks to, I wish I could remember the name of it. The spider in Bloodborne. The spider god. I don't like bosses when they really make me fight a bunch of little ads alongside the main boss. So that can kind of get triggering to me, so to speak. So, well, let's take a jump forward to my kind of winning battle and just get this moving right along. Alrighty, so we've jumped ahead a little bit to my my successful attempt against the finger god. So we're gonna see kind of what it looks like to fight with Milady, the Mimic, and a shit ton of lightning buffs against the Lord of the Fingers, the Twisted, throwing up gang signs, looking ass deity in front of me. And I'm honestly gonna whoop its ass, but that's mainly because the weapon and kind of the way dexterity and lightning scaling just work. I just have something that I can kind of really crutch on. Like, look at those hits. And if I really lean more into it, I could do a lot of damage with the Milady, but I kind of chicken out and I go for that sustainability for some of my talisman. In terms of the lore, which is kind of why I was upset to lose so much of the recording, I don't really know what's going on here. So there's some sort of finger mother. Okay, I can live with that. He mentioned that in the dialogue with Metyr, and that they had this crooked mother or whatever, but I thought he was talking about America or the Golden Order rather than this. I'm not sure what this is. I haven't read the finger item or the finger remembrance description yet, so there might be some good tidbits in there, but this is just one of the ones where I'm in here on pure vibes, pure look at how fucking gross this creature is, and just admiring the grotesque imaginations at From Software. So there's the Mother of Fingers defeated. You see its death and kind of how it teleports away was kind of like gravity magic or some sort of sorcery rather than the faith connections I think of with the fingers. But I don't know. Again, I'm not a big lore guy in terms of really breaking it down, but I try to follow along as I go for the general vibes of what's happening throughout the story. So there's not too much more that I really have for you today, because kind of the technological fuck up that I did with my recording really kind of lost us a lot of the juice. So mostly I spent some time running around kind of looking at the weird phalange tubes that are hanging down and just kind of speculating on what this area is and if there's anything I'm missing. And then I go back to Metyr and I cannot figure out if I fucked up the quest by burning the shadow tree. So if you've made it past this point, feel free to kind of let me know, did I screw this up when I advanced to burn the shadow tree in the last video? Was that a critical error on my part? As soon as I got to the location, I kind of thought, oh, I've jumped the gun. I shouldn't have done that. But what can you do? Even if I did, I'll definitely be running through this again on my 80 Faith build in New Game Plus 4 to really try to mess around with some of the broken stuff that they've added into this DLC. So otherwise, I'm actually going to end it there, keep it brief for this video because, like I said, the errors I made. And we'll pick back up depending on some off-recording research, either with the final looking legacy dungeon, or I'm going to try to find my way to the last kind of key location that I don't think I've discovered. It's still hidden for that last map fragment. I'm going to try to uncover that in our next video. So thank you for watching. Thank you for understanding my technical ineptitude and some of the mistakes I made. Hopefully this won't happen every time. Kind of ruins what I'm trying to do with these videos when it's not pre-recorded but post-recorded audio. That's not fun, right? I want to talk about this stuff as I experience it. So I'm going to end it there as I kind of run around trying to figure out what I did wrong. Thank you again for watching, and if you made it to the end, subscribe, like, but more importantly, comment. That's what I'm here for. I just want to interact with people more in this community and experiencing these games. I'm not necessarily trying to, sell you a product here as much as share an experience with you, kind of like a book club or something of a similar nature. So thank you again, and take it easy out there. It's tough times.